Yeah, I think it has been started. So we will discuss the editorial. Uh, it is about adoption in India. Recently, what is happening? Like this drive is going on, and a lot of rules have came in nearly few days. Like there is this mismatch between the adopters and the people who want to adopt. So there is mismatch, and on this topic, the editorial has been written. So the title is Finding a Home, and it is about on India's adoption policy. So here it is written that the established adoption process should not be bypassed to increase the numbers. So as I told you that there is a mismatch between the children who wanted to get adopted and the people who wanted to adopt. So there is mismatch, but to increase the number of people, like to increase the number of children, it is not right now ethical to the establish the adoption process or increase the numbers of those children without knowing the further consequences of what can happen to those students or children. So we will just scroll up and try to read the paragraph. Policy intervention without knowledge of ground realities often ends up as an exercise in self gratification for those in authority and results in little or no benefit for the intended target group. So here intended target group is written is used for the children who wanted to get adopted, and because you know that a lot of policies are made to make the party popular or to make that specific person in the administration that he want to get self satisfaction or self gratification. So they try to change some policies, try to upgrade it, but they are not they are not going to research on what is the happening on the ground level or what is the status on the ground level. And if we try to change this policy, is it going to create vast people, like benefit vast people, or it will just benefit a little? So it is written here, if we are going to change the policies, there may be chances like people will try to get self satisfaction rather than creating an impact over the society. So wanting to do good must be matched by knowing the right thing to do in the circumstance, and in the case of children be guided by children centric policies. So here it is written about that whenever we are trying to create something new, so the circumstances in stance should be must be known by the policymakers, that what are the ground realities of this thing. And when we are creating something for children, then we should must everything be must be child centric. We should know about the feeling of children, like while they are getting adopted, what is their mindset about adoption. Do they really want to get adopted, or they don't want to get adopted, or the what is the background of the family who is going to adopt that children? Are they ethical, or are they like abusive parents? So these kind of things must be checked out by the policymakers, like what is the ground reality over there. Sorry guys.
Yeah, continue.
Yeah, hold on for a second. Whether the recent recommendation of a parliament panel to bring more abandoned children into adoption process will fulfill these parameters is an issue that warrants further discussion. So here it is written about the recently the parliamentary panel has recommended something, like they have ordered all the districts over the country to gather the possible number of the people or the children who are abandoned or are been orphaned due to some circumstances. So these people will be noted down, and according to that, the policymakers will create a policy that will help these children to get adopted. So we were here. Warrants further discussion. Yeah, it is like this panel is bringing something recommendation, but it needs further discussion. They cannot start this thing suddenly and they force it in the law right now in an abrupt manner. They should think about it. They should further discuss on this thing. Like, is this thing right? Are these policies going to help the children or not? So, a recent report, Review of Guardianship and Adoption Laws by the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Personal Public Grievances and Law and Justice, has pointed to huge mismatch between the number of people wanting to adopt children and the number of children legally available for adoption, and suggested that the way to remedy that would be to ensure that orphan and abandoned children found begging on the streets are made available for adoption at the earliest. So here there is a parliamentary committee which, like the name of the parliamentary committee is Review of Guardianship. Sorry, it is Parliamentary Standing Committee on Personal Public Grievances and Law and Justice. So this is a committee, you can think about it, and basically the task of this committee has been given by recent law, like the recent thing which has been came by the uh, policy makers, or we can say parliamentary panel, that they have asked this law to find the children and fulfill, like when they have find this such a threatening thing, like the gap between the adopters and the children who wanted to get adopted. So on this way they have found that, suggested that to like this void should be given some remedy, like the number of the children who want to get adopted should be increased, so the requirement should be fulfilled from the both sided. And to like do the survey about it, has the task has been given to this specific committee, which is Parliamentary Standing Committee, like on Personal Public Grievances, Law and Justice. So this has given task, and they have recommended, like they have suggested that orphan and abandoned children found begging on the streets are made available for adoption at the earliest. So people like the children who are really like abandoned or begging on the streets right now, they should be kept into, like they should be their ID should be noted down there, and their number and their identity should be added in the adoption list as soon as possible. To do so, it has suggested periodic district surveys to identify children who are orphaned, abandoned. The report argued that in a country with millions of adoption, sorry, the report argued that in a country with millions of orphans, only 2,430 children were available for adoption. So here it is written about, like the recommendation of that specific panel. It is written that they have to do periodic district surveys, and they have to identify children. And why they have to identify this, like these children? It is because the report argued that in a country with millions of orphans, only 2,430 children were available for adoption. Like there is the children who wanted to get adopted, like valid children, are the numbers of these children are only 2,430. But in reality, on the ground, you will find that about 3 crore children in India are orphan, or they are like really abandoned by their parents, or they are suffering from some reasons. So they also need family right now. So the list is very small. Out of 3 crore, here only 2,430 children are available for adoption. That is very, you can say, pathetic right now. It is true that there are always more people wanting to adopt children than the number of children actually available for adoption. It has been so historically, but the increasing chasm, as the report, the increasing chasm, there it is, as the report indicates, will undoubtedly have to be addressed. So yeah, it is written about the gap between the children and the adopters are really huge, and this void have to be undoubtedly have to be addressed right now. So to solve the problem and to solve the mismatch or disbalance between the adopters and the children who want to get adopted. According to report, there were 27,939 prospective parents registered with the Central Adoption Resource Authority as on December 2021, from nearly 18,000 in 2017. So here it is an authority written, like there is an authority in India which is termed as CARA, and main task of CARA is to like check out the children's, like check out the parents who are eligible or not. These agency this agency is really very hardworking, and I think it was established in 2050. And the core reason of establishment of this was because there was here trafficking, uh, like the parents from outside country, inter-country, they used to adopt children from India, and they like after that nobody knows what happened to those children who got adopted, or in inter-state or in Indian state also, they were unaware of what is happening to those children. So Kara was established to check out like what the parents are doing after adoption, or they have to maintain this register about how the children's like how the parents are treating their children, or they have to forecast about it like what is the nature of children, are they eligible to adopt these children or not. And they also keep eye on the institution who provide children, like you can say orphanage and all those things. So Kara was established, and data has been shared here. Like in 2017, there were about 18,000 parents who wanted to adopt children, but as the time has been like in the 2022, the data has been increased to 27,939, which has surpassed like increased about 30%, which is huge in number. But the surprisingly, the thing here, the fact is that the number of children who wanted to get adopted is very low. It is in thousands, like 3,000 or 2,000 children are only available for that task, and the people who want to adopt children are the numbers of those are increasing day by day. Yeah, there were 6,000. There were 6,996 orphaned, abandoned, and surrendered children residing in childcare institutions considered adoptable, but only 2,430 were declared legally free for adoption by child care committees. Okay. So here it is written about like about 6,996 children were eligible to be get adopted, but even out of those 6,000 children, only 2,430 were legally obliged to get adopted. And why it happened? Because out of those 6,996 children, maybe there is possibility that some children are above like 15 age, they are above 18 or something, and they didn't want to get into their family life or something. Maybe there might be cases they had might seen in their previous families that their parents are quarrelsome and they are fighting. That is the also sole motive that they didn't want to get adopted. So the consent of child is like very important in this adoption process. So even out of those 7,000 children, only 2,430 children were declared legally free for adoption by child welfare committees. And because of that, the requirement, the shortage of children who wanted to get adopted is very low, and the requirement of the people who want to adopt the children is not been fulfilled. So I think this is the main reason why government has came up with the policy that they have to find and search in the all district like how many children are orphans. And there is also a important reason behind it. Like recently in the COVID period, we have also found about it. Like there are a lot of children who got orphan, or who got like their family members have died, and because of that there is no caretaker of them. So might be the number has increased, but still we have to find like these children, target and find these children where are they residing, and try to add them into this adoption process. Is it visible?
No,
Hello, morning.
oh,
Will you tell me what is going on?
the editorial session is going on. Please don't speak right now because host will become.
Okay, okay.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Sorry for that issue because somebody had called between the conversation. Is display visible to you all?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we were at 24,000 point, 22,400 point. Okay. It claimed that the waiting time for adoption has increased to 3 years from 1 year. So earlier, what happens when you want to adopt a child, it would take only 1 year. Like the adopters will get their children in the time span of 1 year. But now, because of the high demand, that this time has been increased to 3 years, which is creating a lot of problem. In the past 5 years, the total number of children adopted in 2021-2022 was only 3,175. Oh my God. Only 3,175 children were adopted in 2021-2022. And this is like you can feel the void between the adopters and the children who want to get adopted. There are plenty of children in our country who want to get adopted, but they are unidentified. But what is the problem here? We will check out what is the real issue which has been created here. So, but the process of adoption in the country was tightened procedurally and legally to in response to rampant malpractices and inter-country adoption rackets. So, as I told you earlier, that what is happening. So, because of this rampant means in a very fast way, or you can say in a spreading very like in a very high speed. So, what is spreading here? The malpractice, and the malpractice of which event? The malpractice of yeah.
Kavi said you're not audible.
Okay. So before 2015, it was what was the rules and regulation that the adoption thing was not under government identity, or government entity didn't take care about it. But after 2015, this CRA was established, and they were authorized to check how the adoption things are going in the country, because there were a lot of malpractice were happening in the adoption process. Like the people who were giving a lot of money from the international perspective, like some of the international adopters, they were giving money and they were buying children in the name of adoption. And because of this, what happens, nobody was taking care about what happened to those children who are been sent to those parents from foreigners in foreigns. And it was you can say this was also not a right thing, because in this process what happens, only rich people can like have the capacity to like do adoption thing, and the poor parents cannot adopt the children even they are eligible to take care of them in a decent manner. Still they won't get their children because rich people were capable of adopting those ones. So there was a void between there was imbalance between the bridge between two sides, and because of that the government body was installed. Like in next paragraph we will read about. So CARA was installed as a nodal body for in-country and inter-country adoption to monitor and regulate the process, ensuring through stringent rules that the adoption in the best interest of the child and no illegality is involved. while the parliamentary committee has interpreted that there is automatic happiness when a child in an institution is placed in a home, it is important to exercise caution. So, as I told you that why the CARA was being established in India, and the practical reason behind it was to regulate the whole things of adaptation. How the children are being adopted in the country, and they have to check the background of the parents, like how they, what are their nature, and are they being like well-being or right human being that can take care of these children. And in this parliamentary scene, like the parliamentary committee has said that the child will get automatically, like child will feel very happiness after getting a new family after adoption procedure. But we have to check the caution also, like what could be the practical cautions behind it, how the parents are treating them. Even after adoption process, we have to take care of it. So you will also find nowadays it is very hard to adopt child, and in any circumstances this Sara will check out every single background. Like they will take interview of their family members, they will take interview of the grandparents of the children who wanted to get adopted. So everything has been inspected in a very clean and neat manner nowadays because of Sara. No doubt the country should take care of its children orphaned due to circumstances. But even as it acknowledges that institutionalization may be detrimental over the long term, it should pay equal attention to the finer aspects of childcare and allow itself to be guided by a child centric philosophy. So it is written about like children in the country. Like while we are creating policies, so we have to take care about orphan children, and it is the onus on our countrymen to take care of these people, or the authorities which are being built to like take care of these orphan children and provide them similar opportunities as a normal children of a family get. But even like even these people know that what happens in the institution. Like if there is an orphan institution, like I think there are multiple orphan institution in India, so even they know that the children are not getting a family like a structure over there. They are being just provided some facilities like education and food, and no emotional attachment with any family. But they are saying that it could be detrimental. It means like the institutional can cause harm emotionally to the children. But when the children are allowed to when sent to another parents, or like when they are sent to get adopted to any other random families, so they have to take care of this thing that the child, like the policies and the process of which a adoption session goes, it should be totally like based on child centric, not on the family centric. So the main thing in the adoption session would be the child should be added to a family, not a family would be adopting a child. Okay, the child should be adopting a family, not a family should be adopting a child. And this should be the child centric philosophy that while we are adopting a children. So yeah, there are no shortcuts in ensuring orphan children come to no harm. So yeah, so come to no harm, I think it is a phrase, and it should be been unhurt. You can say to be unhurted. The meaning of this phrase is being unhurted. So what is there written? That there are no shortcuts. Sorry for that. There are no shortcuts in ensuring orphan children getting not hurted. So whenever we are creating policies, or whenever we are creating some new kind of ideas like to increase the number of children who wanted to get adopted, we have to take care of the interest of that children, that they should be not harmed in any circumstances. And if we try to do this process in a shortcut manner, like right now what you will find that it takes about 3 to 4 months to check out the family background of the parents who want to adopt a child. But in this circumstances, what will happen? It will try to adjust the balance between the children and the family who want to adopt children. We have to cut down the time span of that thing, that process. So what will happen? The time span will be decreased, and because of that, the inspection of the family will be not done in a decent manner. And because of that, some of the children could really get into some abusive family who might be not suitable for the orphan children. So here it is written that there should be no shortcuts in ensuring that orphan children are getting into a wrong family. They must be ensured that they are going to meet a new family and they could live their life happily, and they should be also treated as a real family member, not being like you are adopted or something. So this was all in the article, guys. It was really related to the recent event was declared by the government, or you can say by the government committee, that they have said that now try to find out the children who are in the districts at district level, like who are abandoned or who are orphans, and these number of the children should be shared to the central government, and on the basis of that these children would be taken into the custody, sorry, not in the custody, into the institution, orphan institution, and according to that thereafter the requirement of the adopters will be met, and this could create a balance between the requirement and the eligibility of the children. So here we are now at the tone of the editorial. So according to me, the tone of the editorial is quite informative. We got information about the how many children are here in the country which wanna get adopted. What is the difference between the adopting, like what is the number difference between the adopters and the children who want to get adopted? What are the policies of the government which is going to like strengthen more safety of the adopted children and all? This was informative article, and now I think the article has been concluded. And if you have any question, then you can ask right now related to this article.
Question, sir, is so good. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys. So I think there are no questions. So we will conclude our editorial session here. And every day at 11:15 a.m. the editorial sessions are being held. Today was some problem because of somebody had called me, and you can think it happened in an abrupt manner. But beside that, every day it is done in a decent manner, so you people can join and get benefited from these sessions. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much.
Kafi. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Sir,